Hey everybody, I'm back. Sonia Lakhani here today with Jaime, and I gotta say this correctly, Tetreault.
Tetreault, yes, you got
Tetreault. We
it.
talked about it before. I was like, I have to make sure I pin this down. So Jaime Tetreault, thank you so much for being here. She is one of my 2 weeks of Trademarks alums. Thank you for being here today.
It's truly a pleasure. I was
Oh, I'm
like,
so
really,
glad.
me?
Yes,
Yes.
in all your glory. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So I know who you are, but for those new to you, new to your story, do you want to just do like your background, what you're up to, what you do?
Yeah, so I'm Jaimes Tetreault, as Sonia expressed earlier. And so my background, really, I started out in veterans disability law, and then I wanted to go out on my own and hang my own shingles. So I started kind of exploring a couple of different avenues, and then I was like, oh, trademark seems like it's super straightforward. I don't have to go to court and get dressed up every day, and I don't have to have clients locally. It's something that I can do nationally. So I started to, look into the trademark realm, and like learned as much as I could. Then of course I came across Sonia's course. But before we get into that, yeah, so I've pretty much just been running my own business, pretty much doing business contracts, drafting, and some trademark laws, trademark applications as well.
We love to see it. So let's go all the way back. I know it hasn't been that long, but it's been enough time, to see a real trajectory. So let's rewind back to around the time that you started thinking about trademarks and then looking for some instruction. Like, how long ago was that?
So it was January of 2021. I had hired a business coach and spent an exorbitant amount of money, like new car money, on this coach um, to, help me get, the scoop on how to run a business, how to do things on my own. And, so he was not a coach that was an attorney or anything like that. He didn't have trademark experience or anything. So everything I was learning was pretty much just how to run a business, and keep up with numbers and all that sort of stuff, and structuring certain things. So then, maybe about 6 months after that, so last June, I believe, I saw Sonia's course and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm still paying off this credit card. But this is something, I mean, I'm looking at the reviews, and I'm looking, at everyone. I'm talking to people in the Facebook group, and they're like, yeah, it's like the best course ever. And I'm like, oh. And I like reached out and I was like, I'm going to take your course one day. Just wait a second. And then I pretty much begged my husband to pay for it. Like, so I think it was like September, October last year that I took it, and I binge watched every single class. I was like, this is everything I've been looking for, because I'm like, okay, like navigating through the T system to try to really figure out, bumble and stumble my way through how to, do trademarks on my own wasn't easy. But your course like laid it out. It was like no nonsense. You were like, this is how you do it. This is where you need to go. Boom, boom, boom. And it was just like something I didn't even expect. I was like, all right, everybody says like this course is legit. And I'm like, it's more money and my husband's gonna kill me. And I was like, it's like, I was like, I gotta do it. And I mean, I'm super happy that I did, because normally I get like bamboozled into so many courses, and it's like, where's the meat of it? Are you trying to upsell me to something else? Are you trying to, like, just tell me how to do this,
Yeah.
and I didn't even have to question anything. You were on top of everything. Any question I had in my head was like the next thing. You were like, all right, this is what's next. This is what's next. And I'm like, writing this down. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
This is like everything I need in one. So yeah, it's great.
I'm
I'm
so
glad.
happy to hear that. Like that, it just makes my heart so warm because you know when you design something with a specific vision and then that's exactly what it becomes and that's exactly what people take away from it and you're like I want that's exactly what was going through my head years ago. I was like, cut the shit. Like I just want to cut the BS.
Yeah.
Like what? Just
Yeah.
show me what to do. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. You know, and I think you're right. I think that there's so much out there. There's so much noise in the, you know, course coaching instruction world. And I'm famously, I am not a coach. I say that very publicly. Like I'm an instructor, I'm a teacher. You know, I'm not a coach because I don't really know where the credibility starts and ends when you call yourself a coach. Like I feel like that's a very tough thing to measure. But when it comes to teaching, like that's measurable. That's a quantifiable claim. Like, did you learn what you needed to learn or not? Right? Like, did you learn a skill set, which in this case is practicing trademarks? So I'm so glad that that was your takeaway because that's exactly what I wanted and that's what I had in mind. So
yeah, I mean, it was like everything that I was hoping for in a course. I'm like, please let this be what I paid for. And I mean, after I paid for it and watched it all, I was like, I would have paid what I paid this coach to take this class because I didn't learn any of this stuff with
oh
him,
my
you
God.
know? And I
Yeah.
was just like, oh my goodness. So I'm like super pumped for the revamp. Like, I'm like
Gonna be so
really,
awesome.
really, I'm like, don't call me at 4. Nobody call me during
Block
these
it out.
hours. Don't just call. I'm like ready for it. So
I
ready.
can't wait. And it's so exciting to be able to invite everybody that's part of the community. And the number of messages I've gotten where they're like, wait, so I get to just come? Like, I can just attend. I'm like, yeah, like there's no gimmick. There's no, like, yeah, again, cut the shit. Like you already made the investment. You already are part of the community. And, you know, like, why not? You know, I have to keep the meat fresh, right? I have to keep the content fresh. So instead of me speaking, you know, to a Zoom recording to my wall, like why not make it fun? I mean, this is the best part is being able to chat and help and talk all the time, you know, and have that live chat feature. So I am excited because I think it'll be a good time. So it's so awesome to hear that it hasn't even been a year that we've really had you in and immersed yourself. So what was your experience like when you talked about going through the course and really just soaking up all the material? At what point did you feel, or did you feel comfortable to start getting clients, or did you already start taking them? Like at what point did that start to happen for you?
So I had a couple of clients before I took the course, and you know, kind of was like, all right, so this is how the process works, and just the way that I'm talking, and I wasn't even like sure of myself. So, you know, but you know, some signed up with me anyway, and others were like, okay, you know, I'll think about it. And I mean, straight away, it was like confidence boost. Like now I know what I'm doing, like confidently, and I can go through the whole process and say, hey, this is what it is, you know, and explain and articulate, you know, the differences in the application, why you want to choose this name over that name. Look at the Starbucks example. I've used that several times. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's definitely given me a whole lot more confidence to go through this. And now it's like, I can just go through a consult in my sleep. That's also part of your, the conquer the consult that I took. I was like, all right, how do I do this now? You know, like how were
Yeah.
my consultations before and then how they changed, and, you know, so I mean, everything all together definitely gave me that boost of confidence to go forward.
I'm so glad. And you know, that's something that I'm glad that you touched on it because I think it's that unspoken element in success is having confidence, right? Because that starts up here. Yes, you need to know how to do the thing that you're offering to your clients, like obviously. But talk to me about what you feel like the impact has been of just having more confidence and having that different energy when you approach things. Like what impact do you feel like that's had on your success and like being able to have results?
just really having clients, just being able to answer the questions that they have instead of being like, kind of like
Yeah, like
searching for
stammering.
words.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just there. It just rolls off my tongue. And it's like, oh wow, I just sounded like Sonia there. I'm like,
I love that. I love that.
like
That's
she
great.
speaks a mile a minute, and I was able to do that. And I was like, oh my gosh, what did I just say? I'm like, I know that I said everything right because that's just how I got it from
Oh
Sonia.
my God.
So
And
yeah.
I love that. And are you seeing that translate into booking retainers, into clients saying yes to working with you, like, getting that yes?
Yes, actually I am. And that's what makes it even more worth it. Like a lot of the times I'm like waiting for an ROI from other courses or other coaching and all this sort of stuff. And it just never, like, I'm like, yes, I learn a lot, and I get a ROI in a different way, but like monetary wise, I don't see it. So after this course and being more confident in my ability to do the job, to have a great consultation, and to, I don't really like the term, but closing clients, really has given me an actual ROI, and like
Oh,
not even just
drum
like
roll. I want
everything
it.
I learned, but just the money that I well spent on this course. Like it definitely paid off for sure.
Oh, I can't wait to dive into that. Okay, so we want to be respectful of obviously your numbers and your private information. So as general or specific as you want to get and share, right?
Mhm.
Talk to us about the ROI. Talk to us about numbers, revenue, like what have you
Yeah.
seen? Yeah.
So initially I started out on the lower end. It was like, all right, I'll file the application for $500, and then you pay for the fees, and then I charge you for to do the search. So I was pretty much like operating at a loss. I didn't really make much off of it. So I had to try to like restructure everything in a way that I could like live and also pay for the softwares and pay for the search results and stuff like that. So I had to go back to the drawing board. And then once I did that, and even like, it brought in more, I guess, clients that more willing to pay that higher premium. And so, I went from charging $500 to file an application to 1,500, plus you pay for the fees and all that sort of stuff. So, but eventually I'll have to restructure that again once the volume, comes a little bit more. But yeah, um, I was able, like I said, once I upped the pricing, I was straight away able to pay off all that I needed to from the course, and it was great. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you in one swoop, you tripled the amount that you're charging for the service, and it's only
Yeah.
up from there. I mean, and you're and the important thing is that you're also working with clients that are not flinching at that price and that are willing to pay it. That's the key part, because
Yeah.
you can put any price you want on something. It's, will people pay it? And to
Mhm.
have both of those come together is really, that's really where the magic happens. That's so special.
Yeah.
Oh
Yes,
my
it
gosh.
is.
So, I mean, in just shy of a year to have made the progress already, like, how does that feel now, thinking about where you were like a year before that, right? Like comparing yourself, like what goes through your head?
Just, I mean, so much all the time. It's like, you know, I was not confident enough in myself originally to even open my own practice. So it took a lot for me to do that initially. And so I was like, all right, I know that this is going to be huge. And I know I'm going to have a lot to learn. And I know I'm going to be, operating at a deficit in like my first few years and investing so much. So I think that, like, looking back, for sure, it's something that I don't regret doing. It's not been easy, even growing and getting clientele. And I'm like, listening to you, I'm like, man, I want to be like her. I want to have an assistant that can, book my kid's hair appointment or something like that, like down the line.
Yeah.
Or even mine, the day after 4th of July.
Girl, same. I'm like, I need to blow dry. I'm like, I have an assistant who can't. I'm like, can she come blow dry my hair? No, we don't.
Right.
She's like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. I mean, eventually, like that's definitely where I see myself in the next couple of years, being able to hire those extra people and grow like that. So I've seen, like, last year it was like negative, 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 negative. And from the time that I started the course and being more confident, and I was able to market myself better, and slowly getting clients in. It's still a little trickle, but when they're there, they're there. When I have those months are great. So I'm not always in the negative anymore. So I'm like, just
you're on an
growing
upward trajectory. Yes. And that's,
Mhm.
we want to see that trajectory come sooner. Most people eventually stumble, fall, kind of like that game Chutes and Ladders, like you go up and then you hit something and then you slide all the way back. But stumbling your way through, eventually people figure it out. But what I had, when we talk about vision, like, do people have time for eventually? No. We paid 6 figures for our law degrees. We need results now.
Yes.
Like, we need results now. And that, I'm so glad that that's been one of your experiences and one of your takeaways, is getting that trajectory upwards sooner rather than later. Like, let's just get right to it, make the mistakes and go forward, and so many mistakes that you're probably not even making because you're just bypassing them. Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah. I mean, there's a ramp up period for everyone, right? But if you can cut that ramp up period, if you can shorten it, that's really what we're after, is making that, yeah.
Yeah.
So awesome. And then you've really taken it and run with it. I mean, in just a short amount of time, you really built out what you're offering. So I want to talk about that a little bit. So you're offering trademarks, obviously. Are you doing anything else, or like, talk to us about what the structure of your firm is like?
Yeah, so I am doing trademarks. That was always like the main focus of my business. And my business coach, and I always did like entity formations and that sort of stuff. And then my business coach is like, all right, well, you're getting more people asking you to do contracts and stuff. So put trademarks as like an addition to something that you offer, on top of, like, doing your consults with setting up legal entities, because everybody has to protect themselves and just take it from the protection side. And so then I started structuring it that way, and having the trademarks as an add-on. And I mean, the clients like it too that way. So I mean, it's only in the first couple of months, so it's still like a 3-month, you try it and then see if it works or not. But for the most part, I just love like doing the trademarks. Like, I'm like, that is what I want. Like, I mean, startups and drafting contracts and all that is cool, and it brings in some income. But I'm like, I really just only want to do trademarks eventually. So that's where, I'll eventually want to be known as just the trademark attorney, nothing else, and just that.
And you can do that. The beauty of this is that you can design it to look any way that you want it to. And that's all you want to do, then that's fine. I mean, that was my view on it too. You as attorneys, we have so many options of the things that we can do. And especially within the small business, medium-sized transactional world, there's so many things in that category. But I mean, I play favorites. I'm like, I love me some trademarks, man. It's, but the thing is too, is that what I've noticed is that we all have different aspects that we love about it. So for you, what do you love that makes you so partial to trademarks? What do you love about the practice area? What do you love about the clients? Like, what draws you to it?
It's just, I like the investigation part of it, like the cease and desist, drafting those letters and like, hey, and making sure, that my clients are able to get the names or the logos that they want, and without any type of, I'm sorry,
That's
excuse me,
okay.
sorry.
No worries.
I should have shut that off
That is
earlier.
okay. No worries.
Yeah, so just like having my clients get what they want. And then, so one thing that I do want to say though is, when the name is not available, like this is where it gets a little tough for me to have those kind of conversations, and how to move them to still want to move forward with picking a different name, and let's still, go forward with that. So that part of it is still a struggle, but yeah, for the most part, like I love, like, just looking for names, like doing the searches, doing the cease and desist. Hey, you kind of sound a lot like my client that already has their applications pending and stuff. I haven't had one register yet, but because
You're
it
still
takes a
early on.
while.
Yeah, it takes
Yeah.
time. I mean, considering
But
it takes 8 or 9 months to even hear back these days. I mean, so
oh yes.
it takes forever. Yeah. So it's exciting to see the movement that, in just a short time already, right? Like your mindset is changing, your confidence is changing, and that is spilling into, like you said, even just the way you market, which, we should spend, let's spend a minute or two on that, because I think that's a question that people always have, right? Is that it's all cool and all to learn a practice area, but then it's like, how am I going to market? And there is that confidence aspect, right? To put yourself out there. So talk to me about, how you're doing your marketing, how that confidence has affected the way that you market, and the kind of clients you're bringing in, because you're getting good, well-paying, good clients in, it sounds like.
Yeah. So my Facebook videos and stuff were pretty much just all like informational, like just kind of blah, like, this is what a trademark is, this is that. So after the course, it has me doing a little bit more research. So it's like, oh, did you know that you could register a sound? Did you know that this, just different things? And it's just like, it's exciting for me. And because it's like exciting for me, I think that comes out in the videos a little bit more. And so that's pretty much where my marketing is pretty much just doing like informational videos and stuff like that. But more on an exciting way, or even like oh, wait, you're not protected? Why didn't you, register that months
Right.
ago when you started your business?
Yeah.
And even just showing, like celebrity pop culture stuff in the news and stuff like that, um, gets a lot of people in more engagement anyway. So yeah.
You're so right. And when you have interest, excitement, passion in something, believe me, people can smell it off the screen. They can feel that. And then the opposite is also true. The absence of that, when you're just like, well, I got to make a video today because Sonia said so, you're just like, good morning. Did you know the difference between the TM and the circle R? And it's just like, if you don't want to be there, why would anybody else want to hear it? And you can just tell.
Yeah.
You can just
Yeah.
tell. And that's why it's so important to pick an area that you're interested in, pick a practice area that speaks to you, that does bring out that passion in you, because people are going to feel it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And are you seeing the difference in the number of people that respond and the types of clientele that are responding to your new kind of energy?
Yeah, I definitely get more engagement out of the videos now. Still, like I said, the clientele kind of come and go depending on the season, the month. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah.
some months it's like I can get 3, 4 clients. Other months it's like dry, like
Yeah.
crickets. Where are you? Come here. You know?
Yeah. And that's a part of the
Yes.
startup. That's a part of the ramp up for anyone, you know? And I say that so publicly, that this is not the keys to a $100,000 bank account. It's a course to teach you a skill set and then you do with that what you can and what you will do with it, you know? But it really is, it's just up from here, I think. You know, people always have, the biggest companies in the world have a smaller ramp up period. And for you to even have clients at all that are not balking at your rates, that are paying it and giving you great work to where you're operating in the positive, all within a year, is, I think that's what most new attorneys, you know, that are practicing on their own could ask for. I think that's phenomenal. And it's so important to take a step and a moment to recognize that, you know, because it's not going to be where you're making 200,000 the next month just because you opened up your own LLC. Like, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
But can you eventually have that? Sure. Why not? You know, I mean, the world's your oyster. Why not? You know?
That's right.
Yeah. I love that.
Right.
Is there anything else that we haven't touched on, or anything else that has been your experience with me, the courses, anything that you just want people to make sure they take away from our conversation?
Definitely. If you haven't taken the course, I'm like, what are you waiting for? You gotta take it. You have to take 2 weeks of Trademarks. And if you're like me, need a confidence boost, definitely go ahead and also take the Conquer the Console and the Rainmaking, because, you know, a lot of business coaches are like, yeah, you know, go to this event and, you know, network. And you're like, okay, yeah. So like Sonia gives you like, how do you network? Like, what is your purpose for going in there? You know, and actually gives you different ways of networking, or even building different type of referral partners that you never even thought of, you know. So I mean, definitely take the course, all of them, everything. I'm like definitely looking at all the ones that you even offer on your website, and I'm like, okay, I gotta make sure to take that one. I gotta take that one, because I'm like, because I just know that the content is there. I just know that when I have to come up against, you know, drafting a substantial type of brief to respond to a confusion, and I know that if I click on how do I respond to office action, I'm going straight to Sonia's class, because I know I'll get every single thing that I'm looking for, and then some things I didn't even think that I needed, because just from taking that 2 weeks of Trademarks, just from taking Conquering the Console, like it's like I am gonna build that huge empire there.
Yes, you will.
I definitely see it happening, so I'm excited.
Yeah, give it a year or two, and you know you're gonna replay this and go, "That was cute. That was like so sweet." That, you know, you're like, and it's the most incredible journey to go on, right? Because it's levels to this, right? So you start off being like, "Well, I just want to like not be in the red, right? I just want to like not operate at a loss." And then you're like, "Oh, I'm breaking even. Okay, all right, we're good." And then you're like, wait, I'm profiting. Okay, so I can just pay for stuff and have some left over. And like, it's so funny and fascinating how your mindset changes through those levels. And I went through it too.
Does, yes.
Yeah. And what you settled for yesterday will be the bare minimum tomorrow.
Oh my goodness, say that again.
I speak from, again, so much of this has my love and my sweat built into it, because I was there, right? And I remember what it was like. And I remember thinking, okay, I'm going to start my own practice. All I want to do is pay my rent. Like, that's it. I'm just like meager goals, you know. I don't need to get my nails done. I don't need to, I canceled like the $7 Netflix. I stopped going out to eat. Like, it was bad. Like, and not because I didn't have the money, but because I was scared that I wouldn't make it. And I was like, all I need to do is make my rent. And then, you know, my first client was a $900 retainer. I remember that. And I was so excited. And then the next one was an $18,000 one. I did a whole pile of trademark. And believe me, I made that 18 grand stretch, because I was like, What if that's never going to happen again? But it continued to happen. And that's the
Wow,
thing,
that's
when
awesome.
your mindset flows with you and you're just open to that new way of thinking. But what you're touching on and what we're talking about is super crucial, that it's not just about learning a law practice area. That's cool and all, but until you get the radius of how do you do a consultation? How do you talk to your clients? How do you get that confidence? How do you do the business side of things and really make this something? Because otherwise you're just like, I do 2 trademarks a year. Cool.
Yeah.
To build it into something is big. So
Certainly.
you have just done wonders in such a short amount of time. And I'm just happy to have a seat to watch it. So congratulations on all your successes so far.
Definitely, I definitely owe you like big time, because it's like, I don't even know how I came across you, but I was just like, oh, thank God that I did. And I'm really grateful. I'm really, really grateful. And I do thank the Lord that I had come across your course, because it's what I was looking for at that moment. And I was like, all right, I know that I still have, like this X amount of dollars left to pay, but I'm like, Lord, I need something. I need a change, and I need it now. I need to know something. Like, there's something that I'm not doing. There's something that's missing. What is it? And it's like, all right, I'm going to do it. I'm like, husband,
That's
I'm
so
sorry, but I'm going to do it.
And then
he's like, this is the last one. I'm like, sure.
And we had to make it, it's like we had a silent conversation. Like, I didn't know that when you enrolled, but you were like, don't mess this up, Sonia. I'm like, I got you. Don't worry. I'll come through. Like, we quietly, it's like I was sleeping probably, or like out of town or something. And you were like, don't make me look bad, Sonia. Like, this is my last shot.
Yes.
I'm glad I got the message. And I was like, all right, I got you. Don't you worry. Because that was going to be it. Your husband was like, you're cut off. That's it.
Yeah.
It's, and I get it. I mean, because it is, as somebody who wants to be successful, you read the books, you listen to the podcast, and you get it. You're like, I have to invest in myself. We get that. But it's scary to know what the right move is, and will something pay off? And is it really like what all the colors and pictures says it is? Or is it like once you enroll and it's like, what's it going to be at? Like you said, is it going to take them 6 modules to get to the point, and is it going to be what you had in mind? So you say thank you to me, but I should say thank you to you, because there is no course without its students, and there's no community without its members. And so the fact that I get to do this and share what I've been through and share what I've learned, what a privilege to be able to pass that on, because otherwise you're just sitting there with all these mistakes you made, and like, you know what I mean? Like, that's pointless. So
yeah,
you guys give my work meaning, and I'm grateful to you back. So thank you for letting me get to do this. It's a pleasure both ways. I know. I just want to, I know. I just love our little love circles so much. And it's just, it's the best thing ever. It is.
And even the Facebook community that you built, my goodness. I just sit there in awe. Like, every time I read a post and I see how everybody just comes together, it really makes my heart melt. And I'm like, I just love this community. Like, every time I have a question, it's like, hey, girl, why are you selling yourself short? Like, they just tell you how it is. And then they're always willing to help you, point you in the right direction. It's amazing. Like, I really am so blessed to have like found your community and everything. Everyone on the platform, super respectful, always willing to help. DM me, I've got this, I've got a draft of this you can use, or like, so willing. Like, I'm just like, where are these people from? Like, come to me. Like,
I know. I'm like, why can't we hang out more in person? Like, I know. COVID won't let us be great. I thought I'm working on it. But it's like, every time I have one breath of like, oh, maybe we can, it's like, here comes 16 new variants. And I'm like will not let me be great, but
I know.
We'll get there.
Eventually.
It's such an amazing community, and I can't take credit for that. Like, all I can say is that, I think you get out what you get in what you put out, and I try to give good energy, try to do that. And it's beautiful to see it 10x in return. But again, it's everything I wanted when I was growing up, you know, when I was in the law, right? And 12 and a half years later, you're just like, damn, I didn't even know what a disclaimer was 12 years ago. Look at this now. Like, it's amazing, you know, and it's,
Awesome.
yeah, like I said, there's no community without its members. And it's not like, yes, it takes work to moderate and, you know, to filter the requests. And because we get a lot of people in there trying to sell to you guys, all kinds of random, you know, SEO, this service, that, you know, website building and digital this, and, you know, verifying Instagram, and, you know, like, people are always trying to get in there, and we have to moderate the requests, really make sure we filter through. But aside from that, it's not like I have to like remove people regularly for bad behavior or anything. Like, it's really just a nicely, like, just nice, everyone plays together in the sandbox super nicely. And that's something that I think when you have happy lawyers, it translates, you know, it's just a happy area of law, generally speaking. Again, there's always exceptions, but it's a happy thing. And I think that resonates with people, you know, like, if you're not mad in your regular life, why would you be mad online, you know? But the reverse is also true.
There you go.
Yeah, you get these cranky attorneys because they're cranky, and like, I'm sorry, you're so like unhappy in your regular life, you know. So
yeah, it's awesome.
I know. Well, I'm so proud of you. Again, I could say it again and again.
You.
So thank you for taking the time to share your story, and, you know, just be vulnerable about where you were, where you are, where you're headed. And I look forward to seeing all that you're going to create. I'm sure it's going to be amazing, and I'm excited to have a front row seat to it.
Yes, you are. Thank you. Thank you again. I look forward to next week. I'm excited.
See you soon.
All right,
Bye.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.